A top student made a disturbing confession, and I'm in shock and don't know what to do. She admitted to using ChatGPT to write entire essays for her. I asked her why, and she said she wanted to see if the teacher would notice because he claims to know who is using it and would fail anyone who did. And to test this, she said she used AI to draft an entire essay, submitted it, and the teacher actually praised her essay, saying, "See, class, now this is actual human original thinking." I had asked her why didn't she admit that right then and there, the truth. She didn't have an answer. Now I'm wondering if all the other times I got to work with her in the past, was it AI too? She said no, but I don't know. This shattered my entire view of her. And now I just don't know which students are using their brains and which are using ChatGPT. It's unfair to any student who wrote their essays themselves and put hard work just to get surpassed by someone who didn't do jack shit besides typed in a prompt. I'm so disappointed and angry and feel like this problem is going to get much worse and the effects are going to show eventually. When you discover your doctor, your lawyer, the police, when they all just use AI to tell them what to do, this is really happening. What the fuck? Update. I talked to the teacher about this and I let him know that one of his students admitted to using AI and getting away with it. He laughed it off and said he knows that's a lie because he uses specialized software that can detect AI use, and he swore it's foolproof. I asked what software he was talking about, and he kept beating around the bush. I said, "James, what is the name of the software?" And you're not going to believe this shit. Fucking Chat GPT. He's using AI to detect AI. I said, "You're kidding me." Nope, because he pays for ChatGPT Pro. He believes that his use of AI is superior. He truly believes this too. And yep, I just walked away after that. Added to say, after reading all the comments, the overall vibe I'm getting back from people is, oh well, it is what it is. Deal with it. But I'm dealing with it by myself. I am realizing how late I am in discovering the trend. Nobody here seemed surprised by this except for me. Oh well. I've gone back to pen and paper this entire year. We literally can't even give them any chance to cheat. The temptation is apparently too strong. I am so sorry this happened. I would have been devastated if I found out one of my top students lied about the work the whole time. It would be tough to trust them and their integrity again. The truth is, many of us teachers never had that integrity tested by the temptation of AI when our executive functioning wasn't fully developed. Not giving them any opportunity to cheat is actually a kinder option when considering their development process. Thank you for framing it like this. We expect kids to make decisions like adults far too much. The most accurate reality is that we're all biased here. Adults cheat all the time, and maybe far more than children, especially at the top, because the top people are always filtered out by the most ambitious, and cheating is higher in more ambitious people. That's why Tour de France cyclists were all cheating. A huge amount of MLB players were cheating and never got caught. Bankers are cheating the crap out of the system during the financial crisis and even today. The politicians that many of us here tread will vote for are total cheaters and con artists. The politicians that many of us here in this tread The politicians that many of us here in this thread will vote for are total cheaters and con artists. Professors and teachers are cheating. The most accurate reality is that top students go on, become professors, and continue cheating because, well, They are the most ambitious among the population. Tons of adults are cheating, even teachers filling in answers on standardized tests to game the system. The more reality is the top students go on, become professors, and continue cheating because, well, they're the most vicious of the population. I disagree with this analogy. Yes, you have people who cheat to gain advantages. But when it comes to learning fundamentals like good writing, you're only cheating yourself. Cyclists might be doping to get an advantage over other cyclists, but they were not cheating themselves by not training enough. Most people don't understand how doping or PEDs work. By far, the biggest benefit of all at the top level in endurance based sports is to cut down necessary recovery time. Meaning, they can train 2 times more than any other guy. They're not using it to skip training sessions, they're using it to skip rest days. PEDs allow them to train 7 days a week for 8 hours a day without their body breaking down. It still takes talent and hard work to get to the top. But if you don't use PEDs, you run into limitations that others don't. That's just the reality at the top. I'm going to be honest, I don't think this context is that shocking. A teacher made a bold pronouncement about their ability to do something, and a presumably high achieving student decided to put that to the test. When I was in high school, I had a teacher who said if we included a jab he made in the written portion of the exam, he'd fail us. I know I went out of my way to work it in there, and I passed the test. When I was in middle school, I decided to test if a teacher was actually reading my essays. The first couple of sentences were on topic, but the rest were just gibberish. Paragraphs of me just writing whatever came to mind. Got an A. And confirmation that he wasn't reading them. There's a story of Michael Christensen submitting a George Orwell essay at Harvard and his professor gave him a B or something. It's tough for a professor to read hundreds of essays carefully. Most professors and teachers need to cheat the students and the taxpayers out of proper grading and reading essays. It's just too much work. And it's also tough for students to do chemistry lab report every week. It's tremendously difficult to do it all correctly. And think of all the processes and the experiments, results, and conclusions. I talked to a chemistry major about how much time was wasted on it. Basically, like asking students to dig a hole and fill it back in every week, given an A plus, but learn literally nothing at all. It kills all learning for nearly all the students in the nation. He told me that instead they should use those hours to learn how chemistry works because it's so fascinating. And I'm gonna end it right here because, like the OP said, everybody's like, oh, well, get over it. Because you got to think about all the kids out there that are actually putting in the work and the effort. Now, I do know that even though that guy was using ChatGPT for ChatGPT, baby, how else is anybody going to go through all these reports and make sure that they're even cheating? See, we've been using AI for a long time. I think that it's just getting like in our face because it's getting used so often with so many different things now. But AI has been around because I went to college, what, 15 years ago. And when I used to have to submit my test, I used to have to submit it through this program who checked it against plagiarism throughout the whole internet. At the end, it will tell you after it did it, it will tell you a score. And it always had a percentage. Why? Because what you are saying has been repeated. Maybe not in those exact words, but it has been repeated. So it's going to make it seem like, okay, well, this person is 50 to 70% plagiarized. Yes, they're pretty high. It's really hard not to. You know, if you're speaking in the same language, your chances are, if you're talking about the same thing, words are going to come similar. Like, that's just what is going to happen. But it's true. It's true. I personally do not agree with AI in learning forms. I think that I get it for the teachers. Like, by all means, if y'all need to do it, because I know that y'all do not get paid enough. Well, I'm not speaking for professors, but I'm speaking for teachers, especially in the public school system. They do not get paid enough to sit there and constantly read, and they have to read this stuff on their own time. A lot of them got to go home and read it. Now, after I just got done dealing with a whole bunch of little kids, I do not want to read a whole bunch of reports. So if the computer can tell me, hey, this is what was plagiarized and this wasn't, blah, 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 I don't feel like with kids, we should ever push that on them. because I'm a millennial, so I grew up with a computer class. We did not have computers in our class. There was a difference. That was 1 hour out of the day that we went to computer class. And it was fun because Google had just came out and we loved it. To me, it was cheating. Like, if you think about it, that is AI. It's cheating. You don't have to go to a library and read into books. You don't have to do your own research. You just type something in on a little bar and bam, all this stuff pops up. That's AI. As far as anything else goes, I do believe that kids need to be paper to pen, go to computer class later, because technology is already around us in everything we do. We do not need it in our schools all day. You know what I mean? If you go home, I'm sitting on a computer playing my video games. I'm on my phone playing games. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, whatever. We're always on the internet. So I feel that at school, we should be able to detach from that, be in reality, be with an old school paper and pen, so that also these kids write. Because you still have to write out applications and stuff. I don't want that taken away from me. Because I'm not a writer. I don't even like writing. But I want that option. I do not want everything to be 100% digitalized. And maybe I'm the only one. I guess my old school way of thinking is I still believe that kids need to learn with paper and pen, writing out their letters, not just seeing their letters on a computer. That's just my take on it. But what's your take on AI, y'all? Do y'all love it, hate it, or in between, or just like the rest of everybody was like, get over it and deal with it? How do y'all feel? I am scared though that if AI takes all the jobs and they give this what Elon Musk said, where they give us this money, we have to 100% do whatever they want and be surveyed by them 100%. And I'm not willing to do that. No, I'm not saying I'm committing all these crazy crimes, but I damn sure don't want to be dictated. If I did, I would live in North Korea or freaking China. I'm sorry to say it, but for real. Anyways, y'all have a good rest of y'all day and God bless. Thank y'all if y'all made it to the end. Please make sure to comment and let me know how y'all feel about AI because I'm curious.